What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Rashonology. I am your host, RJD here. Hit the like button, y'all. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel on Rumble, RJD199, on the YouTube, Rashonology, on X, RJ, on X, RJ699. Hit the like button. All right, y'all. Hopefully everybody is having themselves a good old day. Listen, all I can say is we got a lot going on. I mean, a lot. This is crazy. We got a lot going on in the world. We got a lot going on. A lot of violence going on right now. We got protests. We got airstrikes. We got more protests. And yes, AI is coming for your job. Now, I am going to be releasing some quick updates, y'all. Let me throw some updates up here. You know what I'm saying? Let me throw some updates up here. So I am going to be doing some different type content. I'm going to be shooting content. I'm going to be shooting some live stream content outside. I'm going to be in different events. I'm going to be doing different things like that. So look out for that. There might be some cooking. There might be some events. There's going to be a bunch of that. And as always, you know, we're going to talk about some money. We're going to talk about all of that stuff. So just know that it's coming. So with that being said, hopefully everybody's having themselves a good old day. But unfortunately, we got some wild stuff happening this weekend. So let me put y'all on to what's going on in Minnesota. So unfortunately today, 2 Minnesota lawmakers were shot. You heard me right. 2 Minnesota lawmakers were shot. Now, y'all already know how we do. We have the video, we look at the video, and then we talk about the video. So let's talk about it because we got a lot of videos to talk about today. So let's go fly over to Minnesota for the report of what's going on.
And good morning to you. I'm Gio Benitez. We are following breaking news right now. Sources telling ABC News that 2 Minnesota state lawmakers have been shot in what law enforcement officials say was a targeted incident. Let's get right on the phone now with ABC News Chief Investigative Reporter Josh Margolin. Josh, you've been...
So 2 Minnesota lawmakers shot. That's crazy. Let's keep it going.
Following this all morning long, what do we know right now?
Gio, good morning. It's a very, very serious situation just north of Minneapolis in the Hennepin County suburbs, highly populated area. We have a former Speaker of the State House and a state senator, both Democrats. Not saying that party has anything to do with it at all at this point, but both are Democrats. Apparently, they were in their separate homes near each other, and allegedly they were shot by the same perpetrator.
Yikes. So these 2 lawmakers in Minnesota live near each other and shot by the allegedly were targeted by the same guy.
Is now on the run. The injuries are serious, grave. It's a very serious situation. The governor is on site, as is the FBI.
And I know that you're learning that the
So now we got the government and FBI en route.
FBI is now involved. We believe at this point that the shooter was impersonating law enforcement?
That is believed to be what happened. The shooter was definitely apparently wearing some sort of tactical gear and reported to be looking like impersonating law enforcement.
Jesus
that could ultimately not be the case when they finally get a hold of the shooter. But part of this is they wanted to alert the local population. This is somebody who needs to be considered very, very dangerous. We're
also learning here, Josh, that both of these lawmakers were shot at their homes. Is that right?
Yes, apparently both at their homes. Law enforcement was very, very quick to say these are targeted attacks. That is language that they use when they want the public to know there's not some sort of active shooter randomly shooting at people.
Well, we got that first initial. Now let's go over to what happened after that, and we'll get a little bit more information.
ChatGPT.
We don't listen to ads, but let's rock over to see what's going on here.
leader, and I lost the dearest of friends. Speaker Hortman was someone who served the
Oh, that's Tim Walsh's state.
people of Minnesota with grace, compassion, humor, and a sense of service. She was a formidable public friend and colleague. Brooklyn Park. We're here today because an unspeakable tragedy has unfolded in Minnesota. My good friend and colleague, Speaker Melissa Hortman, and her husband, Mark.
So Melissa Hortman and her husband,
were shot and killed early this morning in what appears to be a politically motivated assassination.
What appears to be a politically motivated assassination. More on that in a minute.
Our state lost a great leader, and I lost the dearest of friends. Speaker Hortman was someone who served the people of Minnesota with grace, compassion, humor, and a sense of service. She was a formidable public servant, a fixture and a giant in Minnesota. She woke up every day.
All right. Let's see what we got, because this is 3 hours ago.
So we're going to, again, give some updates, and we will be available to answer some questions once all the speakers
have
had an opportunity
here
to say a few words. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Superintendent Drew Evans of the BCA.
Thanks, Commissioner. And today we are asking for the public's help at this point in time in locating Vance Luther Boulder, who is a 57-year-old white male.
Okay, so I guess that's this guy right here. So they haven't got this guy yet, allegedly. He is, I'm assuming, prime suspect, still on the run.
Who's 6 feet 1 inches tall, 220 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. I know this name has been reported in the media so far, and we are confirming as a person of interest that we're looking.
It's gonna be hard for this guy to get.
At this time,
it's gonna be hard for him to get away.
To see him, to call 911. Do not approach him. You should consider him armed and dangerous, and you should call 911.
Made the national news.
He was seen this morning wearing a light-colored cowboy hat that you can see up here in the clothing there, with dark-colored long-sleeve collared shirt or coat, light pants, and carrying a dark bag. If you have any tips about the whereabouts or any information that would be helpful, you can call the local police department, or you can call our BCA tip line at 877-996-6222, or email us at bca.tips@state.mn.us. We still don't know if additional people are involved. This individual is the one that we're looking as a person of interest right now, but there may be other people with him, and we would like to speak to anybody that may have had contact with him at any point in time. So please connect with us, even if this has been some time ago today, so that we can follow up and continue to work together to keep our community safe. And we, as the Commissioner noted, we'll take some questions at the end. But again, we are seeking the assistance of the public in locating him. I want to continue to say, as you see, there's hundreds of law enforcement officers working on this right now for the partners that you see up here today, as well as Brooklyn Park, the State Patrol, Hennepin County Sheriff's Office, FBI, ATF, just a myriad of partners working to try to locate this individual. And with that, I will turn it over to the mayor, and we'll answer questions at the end.
All right, let's see.
So hi, my name is Hollis Winston, Mayor of the City of Brooklyn Park. First, I want to extend my prayers to the Hawken family, but also to the Hortman family as well. There will come a time down the road for healing within us as a community, but right now I think what's required is a calming words and rhetoric. I want folks to make sure they listen to the facts from credible sources like law enforcement, but also to resist spreading misinformation. And then again, asking folks to listen to law enforcement in general when law enforcement has those specific asks. In Brooklyn Park and Champlin and our surrounding communities, in fact, the state, we're very much a family. The Hoffman and Hortman families are very much our family, and so our prayers continuously go out to them. And it's very much a time for us to come together as a community and as a family. I think people need to see.
All right, so I want to go over to Twitter because they had an interview. They had an interview of her because she voted on something. Also, her was under press leadership, also pretty funny. Okay, no, I can't find it now. All right, let's see if I can copy and paste. Hit the like button and just hit the like button. So this apparently they say is the last interview she had because, quote unquote, allegedly, shortly before the Minnesota rep, Melissa Hortman, appeared emotional on camera after casting a decisive vote alongside Republicans. So she went against the party, I'm assuming, to reduce healthcare access for undocumented adult immigrants, becoming the only Democrat to support the measure.
By that vote. And I'm
okay.
We worked very hard to try to get a budget deal. that wouldn't include that provision.
DFL Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman emotional following the House's adjournment from special session Monday. Hortman was the lone DFL lawmaker to cast a vote to cut Minnesota Care access for undocumented immigrants. It's a move she made with a heavy heart.
I did what leaders do. I stepped up and I got the job done for the people of Minnesota.
The bill was deeply unpopular with members of the DFL caucus. Members have repeatedly expressed frustration that the bill was part of a compromise, one that would ensure the necessary GOP votes to pass the rest of the state budget.
We are tremendously disappointed and gut-wrenched at this decision, at this compromise that compromises our communities that are most vulnerable.
Hortman knows she let down her own caucus members with the vote.
They're right to be mad at me. I think some of them are pretty angry. I think that their job was to make folks who voted for that bill feel like crap, and I think that they succeeded.
Over in the Senate, a similar situation unfolded. Senate Majority Leader Erin Murphy forced a vote for a bill she too disagreed with to uphold the integrity of their compromise.
This one hurt. This one is a wound because of its reason.
So she said, I'm not doing it. Basically, she said, I ain't doing it. I'm not voting for that. And what, a day or two or three later, she is no longer with us. Allegedly, people are saying it's politically motivated. I don't know. Listen, I am not going to sit up here and say I understand everything upon everything that is happening with this Minnesota lawmaker and her passing away. But what I can say and what I do know is that this is crazy. It's utterly crazy. And prayers goes out to her and the other lawmaker whose family passed away because she was shot. Her husband was shot. They were both killed. The other lawmaker allegedly is still alive. I don't know the nature of it. I'm sure it'll come out as the days go on, but rough stuff for the state of Minnesota right now. Rough stuff. So in other news, we got Israel and Iran going at it. Now listen, the crazy thing about this is, and I'm not gonna go too crazy, but what bugs me out about this is the fact that the Middle East has been fighting since I was a child. I remember going to school. I remember getting driven to school, and my mother would listen to 1010 Wins. And shout out to 1010 Wins. And I had no choice but to listen to it. You know, you 6, 7, 8, 9, you're going to listen to whatever's on. You ain't got no say-so in your house. Because it ain't your house, it's your mama and your daddy house. So I remember driving, and every single day it would be Palestinians, Israel, Iran. I mean, since I was a kid, and I'm almost 40, and I just remember every single day I would get, there would be a bombing, there would be a fight, people would have been killed. Every single day I remember hearing that on the radio. And here we are, some 30 years later, and it's still warring over there in the Middle East. It's like even Tupac said, peace in the Middle East, right? But for some reason, these two, that whole region over there just continues to fight each other. And it seems like, and nowadays it's not like troops on the ground. Nowadays it's missiles and drones, and it's continuously escalating, which is crazy. But we had, I think, was it Friday? It might have been Friday or Thursday. Israel attacked Iran. And then today or yesterday, Iran attacked Israel. So it's like they're attacking each other, and it's crazy. So I just put in, why did Israel strike Iran? So let's see. Let's read a little bit of this. So Israel lost airstrikes, and this is according to NPR.org. Okay, cool. So Israel launched airstrikes into Iran early Friday, targeting Iran's nuclear facilities and killing top military leaders, officials, and nuclear scientists in the process. So from what I heard too, they have like this technology where they have technology where they can target people like in apartment buildings, and instead of just blowing up the whole building, they could target people in a side of the building and blow up a side of the building. Obviously, there's going to be casualties if you're dealing with bombs and all this other stuff, but Israel has that capability with that type of firepower, which is crazy. And it gets even crazier when you can like send a drone somewhere and blow stuff up, and you could fight a war from like a computer screen. That's even crazier. So warfare now is nuts, man. So let's continue. Iran launched over 100 drones towards Israel on Friday morning in retaliation. And the region is bracing for further military escalation. Yeah, they're going to continue to fight, for sure. Israel launched the strikes over its concerns about Iran's advancing nuclear program. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Israel targeted Iran's main nuclear enrichment facility. So I'm not the physics guy. Like I said, I'm not even going to pretend to know 100% about this topic. But what I do know is that this nuclear power, obviously, if you have the capability, if you have nuclear capabilities, you can make very destructive weapons, and you have to enrich the uranium to a certain point. There are YouTube videos on it breaking down what this is and how bombs are made, like the nuclear bombs and stuff like that. Go look at that. I would advise you just go educate yourself on it if you would like. I've seen some of the videos, but they basically want Iran to not have nuclear weapons, and Iran, I guess, is like, no, I'm going to have them if I want. So I'm sure it's deeper than that, but here we are. So we are at a decisive moment in Israel's history, Netanyahu said early Friday, adding that the operation would roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's survival. So these people they're not outright threatening each other, but I mean, they're literally saying, without saying it, everybody's standing on business. So it's just going to keep escalating. And I heard there was a talk that was supposed to happen. Oh yeah, here we go. So ahead of the attack, the U.S. and Iran were discussing a deal that would have Iran scale down its nuclear program in exchange for the U.S. to lift sanctions, which would have crippled Iran's economy. So Iran insists it does not want to create a nuclear weapon. Netanyahu has been adamant that the only way to stop Iran from developing a nuclear weapon is by going to war. Yikes. The U.S. was set to meet with Iran on Sunday, but Iran says it will not attend this meeting after Israel's attack. Well, duh. Why would they attend the meeting now when you done attack my country? And then I'm going to attack their country back. It's like back and forth. The seesaw swings back and forth. So let's look at. So this was 41 missiles towards. And so this was the retaliation. So Iran launches retaliatory attack.
Overnight, Iran's retaliation, missiles raining down on Tel Aviv.
That's crazy. Do y'all see that? Do y'all see that?
Nope.
Stop it. Get some help.
Bruh.
Killing at least 3 and injuring dozens more, according to Israeli police. The IDF saying Iran launched dozens of missiles towards Israel. Air raid sirens heard in Tel Aviv as missiles fly over the city. The country's air defense system intercepting many, but not all. Iranian drones filling the...
So apparently, Israel does have the capability to kind of protect themselves against, I guess, the missiles, and they have anti-missile, I guess, weaponry, but they can't catch 100% of them. They could only catch but so many. But this was in response to that. And
Sky in Tel Aviv seemed halted midair, but some still making it through, smashing into buildings. And these dramatic videos circulating.
Look at that, is crazy. Jesus Christ. This is
nuts.
Dramatic
videos circulating online showing the moment one plummeted into a building, causing a massive fireball, debris permeating the entire atmosphere.
Yo.
ABC News has geolocated this video showing smoke rising from the area. The Ministry of Defense complex in Tel Aviv.
Jesus.
A nearby shopping mall damaged too. You can see a large emergency response. Iran claims it targeted the Ministry of Defense, but Israel has yet to confirm what exactly was hit. A security camera capturing this explosion of debris landing in a residence.
Wow.
And this morning, daylight revealing the aftermath of the strike, hitting their homes. At least 2 people reported dead here, with 12 more injured, according to local medical responders.
You can see just how powerful these explosions were. Those buildings are crumbled in the distance, and debris is everywhere, and cars destroyed. You can see that dust covering everything that's on the street here. We heard.
The crazy thing about this is, let me put the video over here so y'all can see me. The crazy thing about this is there are people that, like, obviously you want to talk about military targets and stuff like that. Cool. You want to go hit in times of war. There are obviously going to be casualties. It's impossible not to have any. But those are buildings that people live in. So even if, let's say, it's a military target across the street, there are people there, and you just wake up and you hear those alarms, and you have bombs just floating and flying across the sky. Phew, phew, phew. That's nuts, yo.
Heard from officials that this happened as dozens of families were trying to evacuate, and sadly, one woman passed away.
The barrage is Iran's response to Israel's stunning attack against its nuclear sites Thursday night. Explosions lighting up the sky in Tehran, killing 78 people, including top military leaders and government scientists. Israel had long telegraphed its intention to strike Iran.
It's like all over the place.
But the campaign itself, Operation Rising Lion, a joint effort between the IDF and Mossad intelligence agency, is seen as a dramatic escalation and a bigger, more targeted plan than many expected.
All right, so let's see what
Iran
this.
began firing more missiles into Israel.
Those are missiles, y'all. Look at that. And it's not one or two, it's a barrage of missiles.
Moments ago, Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yingst is live from Tel Aviv with more on that. Trey.
This was 3 hours ago.
Yeah, John, we have some video captured by our...
Oh, this is 1 hour ago. Let's see. Oh, come on, y'all. So this is 1 hour ago. So let's see what this is about.
In the Middle East, Israeli military says it has identified missiles launched from Iran towards Israel. This is breaking right now. These are live pictures of Israel. Let's go to our Home and Security Editor, Mark White, for the latest on this. Mark, good evening. Keep us up to date, please.
Nothing yet.
Yeah, the alarms went off just literally a couple of minutes ago. At the moment, they're concentrated north of Tel Aviv, around the main port city of Haifa. Now, that's clearly a worrying indication. That's a major port, Israel's main.
Okay,
let's go straight
an hour ago.
Dr. Azhar Radwan Septi, who's joining us on the broadcast, political analyst and author, just to make a better sense of what we're seeing happening right now. Thanks very much for being here. I have to begin by asking you for your assessment of the way in which, the sheer scale at which these latest strikes have been carried out, with Iran and Israel both launching those strikes, specifically talking about how Israel is now going after Iran's energy infrastructure.
So
it's mind-boggling, actually.
What I notice here is these are regular people. Like those are people just minding their business. And this is crazy, yo.
And Israel has nuclear arms, so it has the upper hand in the area. So unless someone comes in and tells Israel to stop whatever it's doing, we're going to continue to see this.
Those are missiles.
Civilians at both ends.
Those are missiles.
There is no, and then at the same time, we're diverting attention from what's happening in Gaza. I mean, the genocide that is occurring. And then one day they...
Okay, so you guys get the point. This is absolutely crazy. We're going to continue to monitor the situation. And the reason why I talk about this is because the U.S. is a world superpower, and Trump, from what I was reading, Trump is trying to settle things down over there, but I don't know if he can. I don't know if he's going to be able to settle things down over there. I think these two countries are going to continue to fight. I hate the fact that it's going to be what it's going to be. People are going to fight with each other, but it sucks that other countries are going to get pulled into this, and hopefully they can find a peaceful solution. Will they? I don't know. I hope so, but time will tell. Time will tell. All right, so let's move this right along. So we have a no kings protest. What does that mean?
You stupid.
I don't know. So we're going to talk about this because this was supposed to be today, if I'm not mistaken, and we're going to find out what the actual hell is going on right now. Let's go on to these no kings protests.
This morning, after a week of turmoil from protests in some U.S. cities to new strikes in the Middle East, there are no signs that plans for President Trump's, quote, big longest military in the world. Tomorrow's celebration here in Washington will honor the Army's 250th anniversary, which also falls on President Trump's 79th birthday. The president says an expected
happy birthday to the president.
Spirits.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't affect the tanks at all. It doesn't affect the soldiers. They're used to it. They're tough, smart.
With the president in a new legal battle over sending military troops to immigration protests in L.A., he's warning against demonstrators at tomorrow's parade.
If there's any protest that wants to come out, they will be met with very big force.
The Pentagon hopes the parade will help recruitment.
I'm hoping that, at the end of the day,
playing.
excited about the Army as I am.
Still,
the president said he will be met with force if you mess up this parade.
And even some Republicans.
I would save the money, but if the president wants to have a parade, he's the president and I'm not.
The last time D.C. hosted a military parade, 1991, to mark the end of the Gulf War.
Status that can put them in danger for deportation. We are asking not to go.
Now, authorities have installed these metal plates around the city to prevent the tanks from tearing up city streets. Now, President Trump is supposed to watch this parade from right over there, and over here is a Washington Monument. There'll be a large spectator area here. Now, Craig, this has the potential to affect travel across much of the country because there'll be a ground stop at Reagan National Airport for 3.5 hours.
Wow.
Parade. Craig, Gabe Gutierrez.
Yeah, You don't want no air traffic when the president's around, that's for sure. So let's see what we got. Thousands join a No Kings rally and march in New York City. So let's see what's going on here in New York.
Streets in Midtown Manhattan to protest President Trump and the policies of his administration.
They call it No Kings March. The march happening in New York City is one of thousands
So they call it No Kings March.
scheduled across the country.
It started in Bryant Park, it ended in Madison Square Park, and that's where we find Eyewitness News reporter Janice Yu. Janice.
Okay.
Joe and Tanya, the latest number that we have is about 50,000 people were in attendance just at this march alone. There were
So
several
50,000
others
people
throughout the city.
marching.
And again, I mean, this was an incredible showing walking down Fifth Avenue, and the crowd has definitely thinned out. A lot of people have gone home. It was rainy. There was a lot of walking involved, but there is a small group still here at Madison Square Park. And the people I talked to today say it was really great to be out with such a large crowd, such a big showing in not just in New York City, but to be able to do nearly 2,000 that were planned to take place all across the country to send a unified message on the day of a large military parade in Washington, D.C., and what also happens to be President Donald Trump's birthday. We will not.
Okay, so this is the president's birthday, number one. Number two is the same day he's doing a very large parade in D.C., which probably happened already because it's 8 o'clock on the East Coast. It's 8:09, so this thing's probably been over. And then this is a protest about, I guess, new policies that are going through. Let's see. Let's see what it is. Okay, let's see what this is. No Kings. No Kings policy. So, top stories. No Kings policy. No Kings anti-Trump protest. No Kings protest. What does it mean? Okay, let's put what does it mean? What does the phrase No Kings policy or the No Kings protest refer to a series of demonstrations and movement that opposes the perceived authoritarian actions and policies of a political figure. Okay. Particularly those associated with Donald Trump. The protests organized by groups like the 5051 movement, 50501 movement, I guess, and others are a response to what they view as overreach and presidential power and the threat of democracy norms. Okay. So it's policies. Okay. So they're protesting the policy that he came with.
Not be bullied into silence. We will not stand by and let him wreak havoc with our courts, with our schools, our universities, which are the foundation.
Into custody.
Showing up to immigration court and being snatched and disappeared. We're seeing people who have status, immigration status, legal status, having their statuses revoked. College students being snatched and disappeared off the streets of New York City.
For some independents, this was their first rally in the city. Others have marched these streets dozens of times before, but they all believe change is possible if they're united.
It's on us, guys. We're literally. Now it's my turn. I'm going to keep fascism out of this country peacefully.
Well, there were plenty of officers out here throughout the.
Okay, so now I see what it is. Now I see what it's about. All I would say is, everybody be safe, please.
Stop it.
Be safe. Don't go out there and be violent. You don't want no smoke with the government. Just go out there, keep your head on. If you want to protest, that is your right. Go protest, but please, please, please do not do anything stupid that was going to get you arrested, hemmed up, or worse. Because these people ain't playing with you. And if you're in D.C., I know that's probably over now because it's past 8 o'clock. But if you were in D.C., please don't do nothing dumb because they ain't playing when it comes to the president. Nor should they. So, okay, so we see what that is. All right, so let's talk about Amazon investing in physical AI. And what does that mean for you and your job? All right. What does that mean? All right.
Comcast.
Nope, we don't want no ads. All right. So if you like the content, hit the like button. Hit the like button. All right. Hit the like button, like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. We're going to be doing some of this political content. We're going to be doing sports. We're going to be doing other things. We're going to be doing a whole bunch of everything on this channel. So please hit the like button and rock with your boy. But before I go into this, which is my last topic of the day, what we're going to do is we're going to shout out our sponsors, R&S Wealth Builders. Shout out to R&S Wealth Builders. If you're trying to get your money right, trying to get protected, you're trying to get some stuff figured out in regards to your finances, hit up R&S Wealth Builders, watch the short commercial, and hit the like button.
Every day felt the same.
Wake up, commute, clock in, trading time for someone else's dream, but deep down, you knew you were meant for more. An idea sparked, a message from a friend, an opportunity that didn't feel like maybe someday. It felt like. Fear whispered, what if it fails? But your future shouted, what if it? You said yes. Not because it was safe, but because this is the moment, the chapter where everything changes. You didn't just join a business. You answered your calling. Welcome to the leap. Your future just began.
All right. Hit the like button. If you like what you see, go back, look at the QR code, RNS Wealth Builders. They are here to help and assist families get properly protected out of debt and get to their financial goals. So shout out RNS Wealth Builders. Hit the QR code, book yourself an appointment. Now, moving on to Amazon. They invested in AI. Let's see what they're talking about.
Calling Amazon an underappreciated Gen AI winner, citing its investments in automating $200 billion in logistics costs. Those dollars could have a major impact for Amazon's core e-commerce business. Our Kate Rooney's here with more for today's Tech Check. They have been active this week, Kate.
Yeah, Carl, some news this week, but from the beginning of the big tech AI race, if you think about it, Amazon CEO Andy Jassy has really argued that this technology is going to help their business internally. He said at certain points they're not just competing here because it's cool and because it's the newest buzzword. We are seeing some more proof of that strategy as AI now emerges as a way to keep costs down within Amazon's giant e-commerce business. So in part, they're using robots in Silicon Valley. This is often known as physical AI, and then they're also streamlining that supply chain. Amazon does need this more than ever right now with the threat of tariffs and higher prices. The trade war has weighed on shares, negative on the year. Really.
All right. What does this mean? They're investing in physical AI, which means those robots, you know, those robot arms that are basically grabbing packages and putting them down. They have those all over the country, not in mass because they don't have them everywhere, but they have those all over the country. And those robot arms don't get tired. Those robot arms can and they will eventually invest in like humanoid robots that will walk up, that will walk down and literally scan packages down the line, scan down the line, scan, and they can do that over and over all day after day after day. And as soon as they get humanoid robots that can sort, as well as, because you can have them on the line and move packages down, but as soon as they get those robots that can actually sort packages, that's going to take even more jobs. So AI is coming, whether you want it to or not. You cannot put the toothpaste back in the bottle.
Lingering in the middle of the Mag 7 lately. This week, Amazon rolled out some incremental AI updates. One new model is meant to speed up delivery. Another is to upgrade its fleet of robots, which in turn helps automate warehouses and keep costs down. So the key here for investors is margins. Right now, Amazon's business has roughly 11% operating margins for e-commerce. It's about half of that, but had gone negative if you think back to COVID, and those margins have since recovered. Gene Munster, for example, over Deepwater, thinks Amazon could get to...
And the tariffs are going to hurt Amazon too, because those tariffs, if you can't sell certain things and your goods can't get to where they need to get to, because they don't have them, that's going to be a problem too.
15% operating margins if all of these AI efforts end up paying off, especially in robotics. You can't compare it really to Tesla's strategy. Munster thinks a bulk of the value right now in AI for Amazon
this is what they got now.
Robots. I did speak to Amazon's robotics.
See, they have those robots now, but they're investing into. Why is Siri answering? I didn't say nothing about Siri. They're investing into those robots now, and they're only going to invest more.
Chief technologist who described these AI updates as a way to improve the brains of these machines.
We call it physical AI because what we're doing is we're blending the mind with the body. We can create a more adaptive robot. We can take on the menial, the mundane, and the repetitive, eliminate that with our robotics. We can improve efficiencies for our customer to pass along a low cost as well.
Yes, they will do it in the name of efficiency because it will be efficient, because there will be no smoke breaks. Robots don't have to take smoke breaks. Robots don't have to go to the bathroom. They literally can just work and work and work and work. So it will be more efficient. So for the company, it's going to be great. For people looking for warehouse work, it's not going to be so great. So the only thing you can do is skill up. You're going to have to skill up. You're going to have to get a new set of skills, because the old way of the plant, the warehouse, to get in the door and maybe do some stuff, that's going to be obsolete real quick, real soon.
This could go even further. There was a report from The Information this week that Amazon is now testing humanoid robots for delivery. Right now, Amazon has almost 1 million of these machines out there.
They're testing humanoid robots for delivery. So they're beta testing it now. So it's coming.
warehouses. I would say the vast majority, though, are not humanoid robots. They're sort of these robotics arms you can see on the screen there, for example, or they sort of look like giant Roombas on these factory floors. If robots and AI and supply chain can meaningfully keep costs down, investors.
So what's going to happen is you're going to see them start to slowly implement more and more and more until you only need, if you had 50 to 100 employees at that warehouse, now you only need maybe 10 to 15 to monitor the robots to make sure they're doing things efficiently and they're not bugging out. And, you know, the drivers will be okay for now. But like I said, it's coming. We're still in the infancy stages, but next 5 to 10 years,
Are going to be more willing to support about $100 billion in capex that Amazon has been shelling out right now, guys.
We're just going to throw another number in, which was 1.56 million people. That's how many Amazon employees globally. I mean, we've been talking about the job threat or job change, as Jim Breyer just said, to AI. When you're talking about productivity and more robots, I assume you're talking about cost savings on jobs and potentially
hiring. Yeah, it's a great question, Sarah. That's something we continuously ask them. And the immediate answer is typically, oh, it's actually in the near term going to result in more jobs. I know Jim Breyer said, oh, different jobs. And that is sort of the sentiment here. But you have to, if you're connecting the dots here, if it's more robots, especially humanoid robots, you would think the end result is fewer people. But with the job numbers out today, there's been arguments over not having enough people to work in some of these warehouses. But overall, Amazon hasn't said this. They've said, yeah, we're going to keep jobs stable. But that is one way that you could theoretically cut costs and keep costs.
Okay.
Stop it. Get some help.
Nope. Yeah, no. Different jobs, yes. But the amount of jobs will go down tremendously. They'll go down tremendously. The biggest operating expense for a company is the workforce. That's why as soon as companies start going into trouble, they start firing people because that's 50,000, 80,000, 110,000. Those salaries, you don't got to pay those salaries. You get to keep those salaries in your company. So you don't have to pay a robot. They're paying a lot up front, but it will pan out in the long run, because if you're paying out all of these billions of dollars up front, how much money are you going to save on the back end when you have to pay only 10 salaries instead of 100? Because you only need 10 people in a warehouse to make sure it runs efficiently to run the robots. So yeah, it's going to be different. They will still need people, but the jobs that you could kind of coast on and the jobs that are pretty much, you can kind of say, okay, I know these jobs will be there. Those jobs are going to be few and far between. They're going to be few and far between, especially these entry-level warehouse and anything. Maybe not construction, because construction, they need humans still. But yeah, they're going to start it with this. So we as a people, we're going to have to get more skills. Get skilled at something and get skilled at something worth getting skilled at. Don't get skilled at nothing that makes no sense. Go get your skills up for something that's going to make sense. That's the best thing you can do. So with that being said, listen, man, I appreciate each and every one of you. Hit the like button. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. We are still making adjustments. We are still rocking out in the air, but I'm digging this live stream. Not going live stream on Rashonology all the time. Most of the time it's going to be videos. I might go live from my phone or do some videos from my phone here and there and put them up. So look out for them. But as for me, that's all I got for y'all. I'm out. It's over. So I will catch y'all on the next one. Everybody be safe. Let's go get some skills. Let's skill up. Let's be safe. I'm out.